Alright, what is good, y'all? Soul here, and welcome back to my story mode. So this is my first video of November, and you know what November means. That means that we are literally within release month for Pokemon Brilliant Diamond and Shining Pearl. We're only about 2 or so weeks away, and because of that, I was thinking to myself, you know what, maybe it'd be better if, for now, within the next couple of videos, we just focus on Brilliant Diamond and Shining Pearl for the time being. If any kind of news so happens to drop regarding Pokemon Legends Arceus, obviously we're going to cover it, I'm going to talk about it, my thoughts, I'm going to let you guys talk about it, your thoughts, we're going to converse about it. However, though, it's looking like that bridge is quite a couple miles out there, so for now, we'll focus on the one that's in front of us right now, and talk a little bit more about Pokemon Brilliant Diamond and Shining Pearl. Now, before hopping into this video, truly, there's 2 specific things that I want to mention to you guys. At the time of this video, I did put out a community tab recently asking you guys if this game is worth the buy right now. If you guys want to have your opinion put out in the video, make sure to go respond to that tab. If we have enough responses, we've got a solid video on our hands. So far, the responses are looking weirdly positive. I was not expecting that. I'm glad it's not completely all doom and gloom with everybody within the community. It's looking real good right now, but let's talk about it more in depth. Let's get your guys' opinions on it. Make sure to go respond to that tab so we can talk about it within the next video or so. As for my second thing, again, since we're so close to the games, I've mentioned this before, but I truly do mean it this time. We are going to be doing a type of stream playthrough for Brilliant Diamond and Shining Pearl, and it is not going to be a basic walkthrough. At the very least, it has to be some kind of challenge run, whether that be a Nuzlocke or a Shink solo run or some other type of special rules playthrough. I don't know, but we're gonna have some fun with it. We're not gonna do that basic let's play whatever situation. Nah, we gonna make it hard. Over the course of the next week or so, I'm probably going to do a couple of test streams on Twitch only to make sure everything's in working order because I haven't really set up everything since I've gotten my new computer. So just give me a little bit of time. We'll probably do some test streams within the next couple of days or so. If anybody wants to watch those or see what I play, most likely something Pokemon related, I will probably notify you guys either in the community tab or on Twitter. So just keep a lookout. Whatever the case may be, we'll get things figured out, we'll get it all situated before the games actually come out, and then we'll play it by ear. So, anyhow, without further ado, why don't we start talking about the National Dex situation in Pokemon Brilliant Diamond and Shining Pearl. So apparently when we got the news a couple of weeks ago regarding the experience share and the TMs and everything else, yada yada yada, we apparently also got information that the National Dex will not be having any form of appearance within Pokemon Brilliant Diamond and Shining Pearl. I have literally no clue as to how I missed this very vital piece of information, but whatever the case may be, it kind of works itself out because this is something that I kind of want to talk in depth about anyway. The current state of the Pokédex has been an ongoing topic since the release of Pokemon Sword and Shield, and it very much carried over to these remakes, so I think it's about time we start really talking about what this situation is and why it may be good, why it may be bad, and just really talk about things here. For starters, why don't we just take a look at the National Dex as a whole? Really recognize what that mechanic is for us. They initially introduced the mechanic of the National Dex to us so that we could have some way to access every Pokemon in the game up to that point. The first time we got that introduction was all the way back in Gen 3. At that point in time, we were rocking not even up to 400 Pokemon. Damn close, sure, but not quite. And then right after that, we got the first gen remakes, which reintroduced the National Dex mechanic. Eventually, it transferred over to Emerald, then Diamond and Pearl, then Platinum, then the second gen remakes, and so on. So you kind of get where I'm going with this, right? Obviously, after so many years of having it, we kind of just started to expect it at one point. Ironically, we had that mechanic all the way up to the third gen remakes, Omega Ruby Alpha Sapphire. Meaning that in Pokemon Sun and Moon, we straight up did not have a National Dex, and from there on, we never did. Now correct me if I'm wrong, but if I'm remembering correctly, you were still able to transfer Pokemon over to Pokemon Sun and Moon and Ultra Sun and Moon, they just wouldn't have any Pokédex entry or Pokédex number. But regardless of the details, the fact still remains. The National Dex was not available since Pokemon Sun and Moon. That kind of brings me right into my next point, which is simply the fact that I really don't think that it's going to be all that big of a deal at the end of the day. Damn. After that last sentence, I could feel a couple of people hitting their desk and screaming why right at their computer screen. Hey, let's relax, let's talk about it for a second. I'm going to need you to hear me out for a second because there is a reason as to why I think this way. For starters, look back at what I just said a second ago. Pokemon Sun and Moon did not have the National Dex, and every Pokemon game thereafter did not either. Back in the day, it probably wasn't all that insane to include the National Dex because there wasn't as many Pokemon, not nearly. But looking at the more recent Pokemon games that we've had within the recent years, we have, at the very least, in some way, shape, or fashion, gotten access to a majority of the available Pokemon within the game. And we have seen high nor hair of any kind of National Dex. Now, to be fair, looking at the other side of things, I can understand why people would be upset as to why we wouldn't be able to have the National Dex. These are remakes of Pokemon games that have literally had the mechanic of the National Dex implemented within them years ago, and since they're such faithful remakes, one would think, oh, okay, well, obviously that would include having the National Dex, right? We did have to find out the unfortunate way that that's not necessarily the case. However, we do need to keep in mind that these are the first set of remakes that we've gotten since losing the National Dex back in Sun and Moon. Mechanics in the Pokemon series have been operating on a very different level since then. We gotta keep in mind, that was quite some time ago now. Now, I hate to bring it up yet again, but unfortunately, because it has to do with the main point of things here, I unfortunately do have to bring back up the infamous Dex cut from Pokemon Sword and Shield. I'm sorry, I know, I hate talking about it too, it's dead and done, but it has a purpose here. Now here's my thing, I can't really compare the amount of backlash there was when it comes to Pokemon Sword and Shield versus literally any other time that the National Dex was not available. However though, I can only assume that because they actually brought it up, there was backlash. Now correct me if I'm wrong here because I'm not 100% sure, but if I'm remembering correctly, it was probably during an interview where they revealed the information that yes, we are cutting about half of the Pokédex so that we can focus on animations. Okay, that's cool, that's fine, that's dandy and all, but you probably shouldn't have phrased it like that. Now, whatever the question was that prompted that response, me personally, I would have said something more along the lines of, oh, don't even worry about it. You'll be able to find plenty of Pokemon, new and old, throughout your journey in Pokemon Sword and Shield. Does that not sound a little more tame? If you're gonna fib about something, that's totally fine. At the very least though, make it so that it doesn't bring attention towards something else that's not actually gonna get the attention that it needs, you know? In reality, they were withholding Pokemon so that we would actually have more Pokemon and things to look forward to when we would eventually get our hands on the DLC. Yeah, we got access to a majority of our Pokemon again. Yeah, we're still missing a solid 100, maybe 200, but at the end of the day, it's not like we were sitting there utilizing all 800 plus of the Pokemon in our party anyway. That's not even possible. Long story short, what I'm getting at is, if they didn't bring attention to it, nobody would care. But once again, we're at that situation where attention was brought to it, so that's what's happening. But I think there's more to it than that. So as of right now, what we do know is that we have access to most of the Pokemon 4th gen and below. Any Pokemon that was harder to get access to previously now has a little bit easier access to via hideaways. Which frankly is still pretty cool and all. I'm very glad that we at least have access to newer Pokemon that we wouldn't be able to use in our usual runs back in Pokemon Diamond, Pearl, and Platinum. Earlier and easier access to some of these Pokemon could still bring about new playthroughs. There's a lot of Pokemon from 2nd gen, 1st gen that I haven't even ever utilized yet. Regaining access to the mechanic of the National Dex means that they would be implementing somehow all 800 plus Pokemon available within the game as we have it. And I don't know about y'all, but that seems a little overwhelming. Well, I mean, not necessarily to me, but maybe to the newcomers. Which, by the way, is still who Pokemon's main focus has been on for the last couple of years now. That has not changed. This is their way of reintroducing the Sinnoh region to people that have never gotten the chance to play it because they came up on Pokemon a little bit later than we did. For those of us that know the Pokemon of the older generation a little bit better than that of the current generations, it's probably a little bit vice versa for the new players. It's their way of saying, hey, it's alright that you don't own a DS. Here you go, play this, and now you know about this region so that you're way more interested come January when Pokemon Legends Arceus comes out, and then you'll be way more invested in this story. Cause frankly, while it would make for a more unique playthrough with newer Pokemon access, it wouldn't really make sense to find Pokemon that we haven't seen in this region before, just kind of wandering around just because these are remakes. So that's where some of my thought process is at right now, but if you guys still don't really feel convinced that it's not really that big of a deal, think about it this way for a second. Why would they ever bother telling us that these games have some kind of access to Pokemon Home eventually if they didn't have a plan for that? As much as it frustrates me to high hell the way that Pokemon Home has been utilized so far, which is almost not at all, it's at least satisfying to know that they're not going to ignore the entirety of the service going into these brand new games. In our initial playthroughs, I cannot say with certainty how much exactly is going to change as far as what Pokemon will have access to besides 4th gen and below. We could get more, but I can't say for certain. I'm not a dev, bro. However, I'm sure that once we do beat the game and do have full access to Pokemon Home, we will most likely have a little bit of power on our side and be able to transfer over maybe certain Pokemon, maybe a lot more. We'll have to see how things play out. Maybe all Pokemon will be available, maybe a couple of Pokemon will be available. But some Pokemon will most definitely be available if you are able to connect Pokemon Brilliant Diamond and Shining Pearl to Pokemon Home. No ifs, ands, or buts about it. One thing I can say with absolute certainty is that once Hisuian Zoroark is available for online battles in Pokemon Brilliant Diamond and Shining Pearl, it is absolutely over, bro. Everybody's catching smoke. Everybody. But we'll probably talk about that little linkage another day. So, you guys getting a little bit of a clearer idea as to where my head's at with this? There have been a lot of foolish decisions made when it comes to the Pokemon series. However, I truly just cannot sit here and believe that they would not allow us to have some kind of access to something new if we were to connect Pokemon Home to Pokemon Brilliant Diamond and Shining Pearl. I know I'm sounding repetitive, but that's how I feel, man. When exactly the service will be connected, I don't know. I have no idea if it's going to be connected immediately because, again, I do remember them saying something vaguely about having access in 2022, but it's not like we're really all that far from next year anyway, so I'm not all that worried about it. So with that, hopefully I've given you a bit of a better idea as to why I'm not personally stressing all that much over not having the National Dex mechanic. I guess if I had to sum it up in a sentence, I would say just because we're not getting the National Dex doesn't mean that we're not getting access to plenty of Pokemon. Whether it be through updates or DLC, we just never know until it actually happens. They have a plan, we just don't know what it is yet, and that's all there is to it. On the other side of things, I still can understand not having the National Dex and why that would make people upset, especially after the entire debacle with Pokemon Sword and Shield. I get it. There was kind of a sense of security knowing that we had the National Dex. Knowing that that was available meant, oh, cool, so my favorite Pokemon is in the game. Cool, I could use whatever team I want throughout the majority of Pokemon that are available within the series so far. Dope. Removing that and then telling people, for whatever reason, kind of takes away that sense of security and kind of leaves people on edge a little bit, especially because we might lose Pokemon from 4th gen that we thought we were going to have for some reason. I highly doubt that, but that's just an exaggerated example. As a guy who loves 4th gen myself, I can also understand why everybody would be so frustrated with them being so unnecessarily faithful to the original versions of the game. Especially when the 2nd and 3rd gen remakes got nothing anywhere near this kind of treatment. We love 4th gen to death, do not ever get that twisted. However, we loved it to the point where we now know exactly what Pokemon to get and where because we played it so much. We know this region. Now that we know that there's no changes to the story, no real changes to the gyms, and not that much to the general region overall, it's kind of weird that at the very least we couldn't have at least some changes to the Pokemon, whether that be Mega Evolution or just access to newer Pokemon. Or at the very least, that's what it seems like because that's what they told us by saying no, there's no National Dex. Again, why they would say it like that is completely beyond me, but whatever. If that's how it is, then I guess that's just how it is. Now here's my thing. If they do absolutely nothing with Pokemon Home, that's when it's gonna get a little dicey. It's gonna be like, what the hell were you guys thinking? What, we could just get rid of our Pokemon in Brilliant Diamond and Shining Pearl and that's it? What would be the point? That's when things would get a little weird, but again, we'll cross that bridge when we get to it. For now, I'm going to assume they have a bigger plan in mind, and I hope they utilize that plan properly. Good lord, guys. Please, it's so simple to make your fans happy. Just pay attention. That's all. So anyhow, that just about wraps up all of my thoughts when it comes to the National Dex availability in Pokemon Brilliant Diamond and Shining Pearl. Me personally, I'm still gonna try and enjoy these games for what they are. no Nat Dex, and Nat Dex, new Pokemon access through home, no new Pokemon access through home, whatever. I'm gonna have the best time that I possibly can with these games regardless, because I still love 4th gen, and I'm still going to love 4th gen well after these games are released. It's just a more convenient way to access the games legally. While I do understand people being upset about it, the National Dex is not a be-all end-all for me. Whatever Pokemon are available, I'ma have some fun with. That's all there is to it, honestly. So now that just about wraps it up for this video. I want to remind you guys again that have actually made it to the end of the video, thank you for making it this far by the way, that I did post a community tab asking you guys about your opinion on these games, so make sure to put your opinions there so that we can talk about it in a very, very soon upcoming video. Don't miss your chance now. And second, I will be keeping you guys updated on everything when it comes to the streams, and I'm going to be asking you guys consistently every now and again what kind of stream playthrough we want this to be, because I'm not doing a regular walkthrough. Like I said, we know this game through and through, let's have some actual fun with it, make it a little bit of a challenge, okay? So let's see what we can do with that. Y'all probably want to make me cry. I know it. I know it. So we'll see what happens with that. But anyway, that's going to do it for this one. I want to thank you guys ever so much for watching. I truly do hope you enjoyed. Do me the greatest favor, dropping a like on a comment, and consider subscribing for more content just like this. And give me all your opinions on everything that you thought about this video down below, because you know that I'm always down there with you guys. Don't ever doubt that. But with that, it do be skedaddle o'clock, so I'm going to go ahead and do just that. Thanks again. I hope you enjoyed. And I shall be seeing you guys in the next video. Do me the greatest favor of taking good ass care, and I'll see you all next time. Bye!